Intrinsically, for me, this stock is worth 300 today. We've been today, I think, at 225. So we've got way to go until we are just at a fair value.
We're back here in Santa Barbara, had an amazing seafood lunch with Alexandra at the Boathouse. Highly recommended. And today, we're going to talk about Tesla stock because this month, sentiments have changed a lot. So Warren Buffett says to be greedy when others are fearful and to be fearful when others are greedy. Right now, people are very optimistic about Tesla. What are the risks that we should still consider?
Well, there are still risks. I mean, we've been optimistic now for about 2-3 weeks, right? Because the moment where everything turned was when Elon announced that he has now a new CEO for Twitter. Then came the shareholder meeting. It was a perfect presentation. I think this was the best shareholder meeting of all I've seen. And then slowly but surely the sentiment changed. So that was May 16th. So, this has just been 3 weeks. And we have been so beaten up, us Tesla shareholders, that these 3 weeks just feel like vacation now, right? It's getting so easy. We're waking up in the morning, we're seeing that stock price, and we're happy. Careful, nevertheless, careful. The Fed can still hike. There can still be delays. The Cybertruck may not be ready for September. We all hope so, but who knows? The groundbreaking in Mexico, I would have actually assumed it had happened by now. It still hasn't happened, so there may be some delays there. So I just always, am on the cautious side. But I mean, intrinsically for me, this stock is worth 300 today. We've been today, I think, at 225. So we've got way to go until we are just at a fair value, right? It's got to be choppy. Q2 numbers could still be complicated, the ones that we get beginning of July and then the financials after that. But I do believe by the end of 2023, we're out of the woods.
It feels that way.
It does.
Tesla Investor Day was one of the rare Tesla events where the stock price actually went up after the event.
It's true.
For most events or quarterly earnings, stock price usually goes down.
True.
Right after the event.
True. But I mean, we were so beaten up. Come on now. January at $100. I mean, who would have thought that? I was always convinced 160 was the bottom, right? And I mean, there were good reasons why it happened, but it did happen and it did hurt, but it's behind us.
That's right. For anyone who invested through the turbulence, there are many ups and downs. So retail investors are seeing some of the light. What's it going to take for institutional investors to start seeing Tesla stock like their darling Apple stock?
That's true. I mean, first of all, I think they should recognize that Apple is getting boring, right? I mean, they just had their new product release. And I mean, I didn't find that very convincing, but we'll see. What does it take for the Warren Buffetts to get into the stock, or for the more conservative pension funds or fund managers? I do believe they are really waiting this out. They're still thinking this is on shaky grounds. They rather purchase the stock later at a much higher price, but at the moment where there are going to be buybacks, where they may even think about dividends. I mean, I don't really believe Tesla is in the game for dividends, but I think they just need something more value orientated. This is too much of a growth stock and too much of a big growth stock for them that still has a lot of volatility. So I do believe they want to sit this out, miss the opportunities. As retail investors, I think we're much smarter than they are, and they will get back. They will get back in, or will get back in it around 300, 400. Who knows it? So they will have missed that part. But the good thing for us is once they get in, the stock will actually rally another 25 to 30% just because now they're back in, right? So in the end, I actually like what they're doing, because if they come now, fair enough, we'll have an increase of the stock. I will have an increase of the stock already. I think the fair value is much higher. So I rather they get in later and we get another boost then. Much easier for us.
So that's the next stage, institutional investors.
Yeah.
The stage after that many value investors look at is when Berkshire Hathaway comes into it. Let's say at the 5-year mark when price is closer to $1,000. For Warren Buffett, in their recent shareholders meeting, they were saying that they prefer to do easy things. But they also highly respect and they will not bet against Elon Musk. He does the really tough, impossible things. For someone like Warren Buffett to say, okay, we're going to invest in Tesla stock. Is that a good thing, a neutral thing, a bad thing? What does that signal about Tesla when that happens?
Well, is it a good thing? Of course, it's a good thing for us stockholders. It will bring stability to the stock price because they buy such a big chunk that a lot of volatility in the market is just taken out because it's not going to be there anymore. So that's a good thing. The signal itself is a good thing because there are still millions of investors that copy whatever Warren Buffett does, right? And so he is still a leader for those things. They're going to come late, but they're actually going to work with management of Tesla from an early point onwards. When they went into Apple, for 3 years, they had worked with management of Apple. So I actually had an idea when Robin Denholm did that video a couple of weeks ago, just before the shareholder meeting, so it was around May 10th. When that came out, she said a crucial sentence that said, we're working with institutional investors. And yes, this can be the fund managers, this can be pension fund managers, whatever, but this can also be the Warren Buffetts of this world. And so if it is Warren Buffett, he will tell them, we will come once share buybacks are on the horizon. And why are they not now? And I think they should not be now. I think we need, at the moment, cash for all the opportunities that Tesla is doing for vertical integration and expansion. There's just so much to do and so much money to allocate. And at the same time, you probably remember that Q1 financials actually had no free cash flow.
That's right.
The only reason we had a little bit of free cash flow was because we had regular credits, right? And so in those times, you don't start by buying back cash, right? You rather wait 1 or 2 quarters too many, where you're sure again that the cash position fills up every quarter before you think about it. So I think for 2023, buybacks is not a subject. I mean, 6 months prior, right? It was Elon who actually talked about it and said he actually recommends it, but it's the board's decision. I think the board was wise to say, hold off, let's see whether this recession comes. Let's get it through 2023. And then if cash really piles up the way Gary Black thinks, because he's given us this calculation for a long time, and there will be 60, 70 billion dollars of cash lying around, I think then the moment has come that buybacks will start and that Berkshire Hathaway is going to be interested.
That is true. That's great insight. Talking about cash, we're now at a point where in the recent Investor Day, Alexandra also asked Elon a question about margins, yeah?
I did, yes.
So Elon expressed his interest to start advertising. But for many long-term Tesla fans, it was almost like a sign of pride that we have the world's best-selling car, the Model Y, without any advertising. So Tesla advertising, is it a sign of defeat? Is it a sign of it becoming a more conventional company? How do you think Tesla should advertise?
You guys, I mean, you're all engineers, right? It drives me crazy. Advertising is not a sign of defeat. I know you all feel like that because you're like, the 20% of engineering guys, and there's some girls in there as well, who understand the product, who understand the genius behind it. They just think the other 80% now just have to learn it and understand it, and that's it. But that's not how the world works, right? There are people out there that don't have the time, nor the intelligence, nor the interest to learn it, yet they need a car. And at the same time, Tesla is now at a production rate where cars, yes, sell, but don't sell like hot bread all the time anymore. So by doing intelligent advertising, you reach these people. And you may not reach straight away all these 80%, but you'll reach the more affluent among them, the more intelligent about them, and those that actually are interested by Tesla, but don't really know how to approach the car. So I do believe advertising is a great idea. I was actually really astonished by Elon's way of doing, because at the shareholder meeting, Kevin asked a question and he seemed surprised, and then, yeah, let's do it. What y'all think? And then obviously everybody was screaming, crazy. Right? We went absolutely crazy. And he was surprised that everybody went crazy, right? And then 2-3 days later, we learned that actually Tesla management had already discussed with Deutsche Bank Research that they would do advertising. So obviously something was in a pipeline. They probably still needed Elon's approval for it. And this shareholder reaction carried it over the line. They will do the most innovative advertising ever. This will be clean. This will be Apple style, very nice advertising. This will be educational. And I hope, I've expressed that now for a couple of weeks, it will also be brutal on the price. For example, one thing I was really pushing was doing a billboard in front of each Toyota dealer, just with the Model 3 and the price, just with the Model Y and the price. Because people don't understand yet that these cars, these Tesla cars, are so competitively priced now that they shouldn't go and buy their Toyota. That's going to devalue the next second, but they should buy a Tesla. And there's just not enough communication on the price yet.
Price in North America, specifically in California, getting a Model 3 below $30,000 in a country where you can walk away with 0% cash down payment. It is insane.
It is.
To not get a Tesla. It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
With that, with advertising,
yes.
So some people are wondering, there's so much good that Tesla is doing. It has an amazing product roadmap.
It is.
Yes, it's got the next generation vehicle. It's a self-engineering problem. They're building it first in Mexico. Another Gigafactory will be announced by the end of this year.
Where do you think it's going to be?
I believe it's going to be in Asia Pacific to diversify the concentration risk in Giga Shanghai.
Yes.
And because Mexico is already covering, people say Mexico has a lot of free trade agreements. It can serve Asia as well. That is true. I believe that another potential location would either be South Korea or Thailand.
Thailand, okay.
South Korea or Thailand. Both have strong domestic car markets. One lesser known fact about Thailand is that Thailand is the world's second largest pickup truck market. US, then Thailand.
Yeah.
So Thailand could also be a potential second Cybertruck location.
True.
Yeah. South Korea, they're huge on EVs. There are a lot of Teslas already. The local supply chain talent pool is amazing.
Yeah. I always thought it was South Korea, but in a couple of last days, I mean, I know you were on the road trip, India has popped up again. So maybe that is another option. But my number one is still South Korea, yes.
I agree. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah.
So you've got good expansion. You've got Tesla Energy, more mega factories coming up. You've got their first lithium refinery, groundbreaking done. You've got the Tesla board, which will take some years to materialize. With Elon's energy, he can do so much, but we want him to do something that's really unique. What's the best use of Elon's energy and brain power for Tesla in the next 2 years?
That's a good question. So first, let me state, I was actually very impressed by Investor Day because we saw for once this deep bench, right? We saw 16 people up there, all of highest level, very passionate about each segment they were representing. And it was good to see for Tesla some new faces, right? I really appreciated that. And I don't know whether you realized, but since then, so that was beginning of March or beginning of June, no more talk about key man risk, right? This subject has completely disappeared. So I do actually think operationally, Tesla operated quite well while Elon was focusing on Twitter. All these people out there, oh, we don't have a full-time CEO. Crap, right? Look at the results. I do, however, believe there are a couple of key characteristics that Elon brings to the table that are still necessary. One, I think he just keeps everybody completely focused. His presence, his concentration on the matters make that the whole teams around it are on their toes. And I think that's always a good sign. I mean, it may not be comfortable for them, but us as shareholders, we do appreciate. The second is the development of the 4680 battery seems to lack something. I don't understand it, but I can clearly see that there is a delay and they find replacement strategies, but it's not going where they wanted it to be by now. So I hope that him being back in the game as much as he is really puts the focus back on that development. The most important for me, though, is everything related to AI. I mean, it's obviously his passion. It's where he strives. He has the vision for it. So I'm convinced that part, FSD, but also the bot, the whole vision AI project is going to be now in a stronger place. It's going to be, a focus of everybody. Cybertruck launch, groundbreaking in Mexico, all those subjects are good. But the bench convinced me that these things are covered, right? I mean, I'm sure he will be behind their back to make sure the Cybertruck is as perfect as it should be. But I don't think that's the best use of his time with all the other subjects on the table.
I agree. There's an amazing bench. Someone like Tom Zhu is now active on Twitter.
Yes.
You've got Andrew Baglino, again, leading the way in a lot of engineering efforts.
Yeah.
You've got, again, Tesla co-founder who got nominated to the board of directors.
Yes.
So there's a lot of strong signs and the key man risk is a lot lower.
Yeah.
So Elon, what I'm hearing is really putting the fire into everyone's belly. What's the mission? Let's do this. Let's turn the impossible to the merely late.
Exactly.
So that's his gift.
It is. It is. And he is just relentless, right?
Yes. Imagine it is 2030, Tesla stock is now $3,000.
Oh, 3,000. Okay.
What's next for Alexandra?
Well, 4,000. Yeah, I honestly don't know whether I could even sell. I mean, if I would need the money for my daily life, of course I would.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to come. But I don't, I don't think in horizon 2030. We'll see. We'll see where we're then. But it's certainly not a stock I would like to get out of.
Actually, in between then, we may see some other investment opportunities materialize.
Yes.
Whether it's Starlink, Twitter, X.AI,
Yeah.
SpaceX. So all those are adjacent companies. Is that something that you think about as an investor?
Yes, I do. It is true. I mean, first of all, I think about it differently. First, the one thing is I had a discussion a couple of days ago with people about whether it is fair, I don't like the word, but let's just use it, that Elon put the AI, the truth GPT into X.com rather than into Tesla. Now, first of all, I think we're entitled to nothing. We're having the greatest company in the world. The bot was not automatically within Tesla, yet we have it. So what are we to complain about? I also believe Tesla is all about vision AI, right? It's all about real life projecting, taking in information and being able to react to these. Language AI is a different subject. Of course, it correlates, but it is a different theme all around. And I think language AI does as much get information and the right data to produce from Twitter than it would from Tesla. So I think X is actually there to do the bridge, right?
That's right.
Get information from Twitter, get it to Tesla, get vision information from Tesla, get it into X. So if I could invest in X, I would, no doubt about it. I would hope that I had new money rather than having to sell Tesla for it, but it is going to be one. Neuralink is for me something I don't measure yet. I don't understand. I'm sure this is going to be great, but I have no understanding of it. SpaceX, I was invited to participate, and I decided then not to do it. I preferred staying in Tesla. So I think it's always an arbitrage in which of the companies you believe more at that particular moment.
That's right. So let us know down in the comments, which ones would you invest in if all were available for retail investors? Alexandra, I'm very inspired by your constant mission just to inspire us.
Oh, thank you.
There's been so much fun over the years. I think there'll be less now as, again, it becomes more mainstream. Tesla's partnership with Ford isn't just about the supercharger network. It's about changing the relationship with other car companies.
True.
That they're not going to just bitch on Tesla because they could be potential business partners.
Yes, they need
Tesla advertising also means that they make more friends in media. You're not going to please everyone, but you're going to have a few more friends.
Well, they sure will want the money, so believe me, they're going to be much nicer, for sure.
So it almost feels like Tesla was that nerdy kid that no one wanted to talk to. Or
It's a teenager now.
Yeah, and now it's blossoming into
Exactly.
something else.
It is, but I mean, that's nice to watch. And there are still many years to come before it becomes an old gentleman, believe me. We still have way to go.
So here we go. Will Tesla age like fine wine?
It will.
If you found this video useful, please click the like button. Please follow and also subscribe to Alexandra on Twitter. She's got an amazing Substack as well. Lots of great insights. She's in amazing podcasts with the Noisemakers, with Farzad.
Yeah.
She's going to be probably, you see her in a lot more Tesla events, one of the panel speakers next month.
Yes, at the
for Tesla Takeover.
Yeah.
Right before
Yeah.
the keynote speaker, May Musk.
Yes.
Click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. It's been a joy.
Thank you.
Good seeing
Daren.
you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Kara, what's your favorite part about Alexandra's house?
I'm still watching TV, so don't disturb me.
Well, there you go.